Begin.
All right. Hi, everybody. We are making lemon meringue pie.
Yeah, I started going through symptoms, and what are my visual symptoms?
And it's actually 3 techniques in one. We've made pie crust, but we've never baked blind. And I'm going to show you how that works and how to do that. And then there's the filling, which is really simple, but we've never tempered egg yolks, so we're going to do that. And then there's meringue. Each one of these is a separate technique. They're all easy, but I don't know why I found it so irritating to do them all for the pie. I've made this pie so much because my father loved it, and that's the reason why. So here goes. First, we're going to, earlier today, I made pie crust. So, and I put it in the refrigerator. And we're going to roll it out to put it in a pie tin. I've done this with you before. It's fairly simple.
Whoa, that's beautiful, Carrie.
Yeah, isn't it gorgeous? She done. And so I'm going to roll it out. And my usual now this is pretty cold, which is really a good thing.
Do you have any tips if you have limited space for the rolling? I struggle with the rolling because I don't have a huge amount of space.
I don't know. I know your kitchen. There isn't space in your kitchen.
There isn't.
It's horrible.
I mean, I did it, and I'm able to do it, but what I do is I don't put anything down on the counter. I just use whatever counter is available and put flour on it and just do that. But
that's what I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my usual thing. Okay, so I honestly don't. So I'm putting it into the pie pan and making sure that it fits. It goes all the way to the bottom part. Okay? And then the usual of folding it under. Tear a little bit of this off, folding it, and then crimping. This is kind of important for baking blind because this is not going to have, I mean, you're obviously baking it without a filling to make it fit in, and so that you want to make sure that the sides are high enough so that it's not going to fall down. And when I crimp it, I like to kind of put an edge underneath so that it's difficult for it to slide down. Now, if I were just doing this, and I had the time, I would cool it off. I'd put it in the fridge for 10 minutes, but I'm not going to do that today just because I want to get it in there so that, okay. So there you have it. It's all set. Now, I screwed up on the instructions. You are going to prick it now, not after you put the, after you take it, after you cook it for half the time. When you prick it all over with a fork, you want to make sure that you get it up close so that the steam will release without it shrinking. Up close here. And don't worry about the pie filling leaking. It won't. You're going to cook it and it'll be just fine. And these holes, which look so big right now, will not be big at all. And then you prick it all over the bottom so that it looks like this. So, see, it's all pricked up. It's all good, all good. Then you have a piece of parchment paper. Actually, what I'm going to do with this parchment paper is cut off the corners so that they aren't going to. All right. You fit it in. Now it won't, it'll probably pop back up. And here are my 15-year-old beans. They've been around forever. I was telling Carrie, I think I bought them from a bin at Super A. They were 59 cents a pound, and so altogether they cost me $18. Now you can buy pie weights, ceramic pie weights, but why bother? Now you want the beans to come all the way as far up as possible. So you're kind of pushing them down. And there you have it. Now I'm going to put it in for 15 minutes. Then I'm going to remove the beans. I'm just going to take this whole thing out and put it into a bowl. And then I'm going to put it back in the oven for another 10 to 12 minutes. So here goes. Okay. It is now time to make the filling. Okay. There you have it. All right. So the filling is it's a cornstarch baked sweet filling. Super cinchy to make. I'll go back over there. First thing, a cup and a half of plain sugar. and you mix it with 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch. It's really kind of important to mix this up ahead of time before you add, oh, and I always throw in just a tiny little pinch of salt, but I didn't put that in the recipe. To mix it up with the sugar before you add the water. And we're going to put this on. Now, eggs. You need to get the ahead of time. If you don't want to do it at the last, while you're waiting or whatever. I'm going to put this on to cook but before I do that, I need the eggs. These are egg yolks, and you put it into your mixer bowl. So, and I do it in my hand. That's how I do the eggs. How I separate eggs. Beat up your egg. Now I've got 3 egg yolks here and 3 egg whites in the mixer bowl. Okay, and I have grated lemon zest and lemon juice ready to go, and butter. Okay, that's going to be for the last step. Okay, so you have, this just looks like watered down milk, but it's not. Okay, so I'm going to put this onto the stove. I'm going to move the computer over. Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm sorry, I've had some connection issues today, so.
Well, we've all had issues this week.
Yes.
So we've got it on. What?
How hot do you put it, Kate?
How hot do I put? It's kind of high heat. It's not the highest, but it's not medium. It's between high and medium heat.
Okay.
And you're just going to get this. Now you added cold water to this. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a little while for it to bring up to the boil. And then you're going to need to boil it for about a minute, but you'll see how it looks. At the beginning, it's not that important to stir it, but I always stand over it because who knows?
I haven't figured it out yet.
What?
Sorry, Noelle was asking what was for dinner. Right now it's just pie.
Things could be worse.
Right?
That works.
Debbie. Yes, everybody, this is my high school friend, Debbie.
Yep.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Hey, Debbie.
And
Hiya.
she is here from Northern California, right?
I'm in I just got back to Mount Shasta. I'd been in Portland for 5 weeks, and that's why I missed out on a few. I was babysitting a lot, but I'm back home.
Are you near the fire?
And one of those
Oh.
horrible
A lot of smoke from them, a lot of smoke. Because we have one that's like southwest and then the one over by Sonoma, and they're both just We just get the smoke. We don't have the flames. But I'll tell you, everybody, I don't know if you can see out the windows here, but we're sitting in a tinderbox too. So everybody's just, one of the reasons I came home was to load up all my pictures. We're going back to Portland and I'm just going to take all my pictures. I normally do it this time of year, but we got to Portland earlier than I thought, so I didn't get them done. But now I'm taking them with me when we go back up in a couple weeks. So. And just,
Wow.
Just holding our breath.
Well, you were up in one of those terrible cities, right? That have Antifa.
Oh, I was so threatened every day when I walked over to get my latte. I was in fear every step of the way. Stop it.
You're in that 2-block area?
We, my son lives right across the Morrison Bridge from downtown. Stop it. Nobody's talking to you. Yeah. And there was no indication ever for the demonstrations have been going on. And as everybody knows, as soon as Trump sent his goons in and started, messing with people, that's when things got, unnecessarily bad, but they weren't, I mean, it was all just reaction to that. It had nothing to do with the regular protest. I mean, there'd been a couple little incidences, but no more than you see in any city. It's just because there's a very strong supremacy group in Oregon. Oregon was, I believe the state was settled for white supremacists, and they're still there. They're all out in the woods. So Portland City, Bend, Oregon, Eugene, not so much, but I think he's just got some of his contacts out there probably just said, hey, get us some help out here so we can, you remember when they took over one of the federal buildings a year or so ago, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
So that same group. And now the night that all the mugs showed up, nobody knew, none of their insignias meant anything. And then of course last weekend when I was there, the Proud Boys, they've been there twice now, staged a big rally, did a big drive-through, just like bullies, just drove their trucks, through town, intimidating, and nobody reacted. And there was one incident again, a guy got killed because there was one little flare up off in a corner somewhere. Excuse me, I'm gonna let my dog out.
Okay, so it is beginning to boil. And see how it's sort of changed from being milky to being more clear.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Kate, I was gonna mention about your stove. You've got a stove like mine, and yeah, we use medium to high, but the people with the new stoves, they probably only need medium.
True. Okay. You see how this
is gelling up nicely.
Gelled up. That's the cornstarch. Okay. Of course, it has no taste yet.
Really? Oh, there's no lemon. Yeah.
It's just sweet. It's
right.
It's like sweet water. That's all gelled. Okay, so it's been about it's been a good minute that it's been going. And now what we're
about the butter, Kate?
Hang on, no butter yet.
Is the butter melted?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you.
First thing you do with this is you're going to pour a little bit more than half of this into the eggs. It's called tempering the eggs. If you just put the eggs in there, they'll scramble.
Right.
So what you need to do is slowly temper the eggs. Now that's about half. And they didn't get a chance to scramble.
Wow, that's great.
So that's called tempering the eggs.
Okay.
And what I'm gonna do is pour it back in. get it all out. Why not?
My mother would be happy to see you do that.
Yeah, oh, my mother too.
Waste not,
I'm,
want
my
not.
mother's 3.
It was like, no, you can't waste anything. I'm going to turn this on again, only this time I'd say it was very low. You want it very low. And there it goes. So you want to bring it back up to a boil. Obviously, it's going to take no time at all for that to happen. And it will actually get thicker.
No.
Just a tiny bit, but you kind of go, oh, wow, it's really thick now. Those eggs help it, and you've cooked the eggs enough to cause it to thicken.
No.
So,
No.
and it's perfectly smooth. Now, if I were a stickler with this, I'd probably wait and then pour it through a sieve or something. I never do. I never, I don't need it to be perfectly thin. I mean, perfectly smooth. It just works fine. So it's almost up to a boil. You can see it's much thicker than it was. Then I'm going to move it over here to do the rest. Still hot. So I'm going to put in the lemon zest.
Kate, how many lemons did it take to get that much zest?
That was 2,
Okay.
around 2. I like use instead of, I think that's probably a tablespoon and a half. Instead of that, you might want to do a tablespoon, which could be a little more than 1, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 tablespoons of butter, which are going to melt in there because it's really hot. So you stir it all up. Away. And the lemon juice.
Can you answer me, what is the purpose of lemon zest? I've always found it bitter.
It makes it super lemony.
Okay.
It kind of enhances, I think, when you cook it with the sugar and the lemon juice. If you just taste the zest, it tastes bitter. But I think when you cook it in with something,
Yeah.
Okay.
it adds more lemon flavor, I think. And I love lemony lemon pie. That's why I'm here.
Me too. Also, Carrie, it releases those lovely oils,
Okay.
just a little at a time.
Okay.
So you've got this. I'm just going to leave it here for right now. And then I'm going to go over and check my,
Mine just went off.
what?
My pie crust just went off.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with it? You're going to take it out. I have a bowl for the beans to go in. Now this is not done. You're going to take it, and because it's still very gooey, but it isn't going to fall over. And put it back in there for another say 10 to 12 minutes. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to do the meringue.
Kate, you have such self-control. See, this is the really hard part for me. I got to get that pie crust out, put it in there right away, or I'm dead. I will eat that just the way it is.
Wasn't sure what you were referring to, but I know what
Me too.
Okay, so cream of tartar. Now, Carrie had problems finding cream of tartar. You can actually put a teaspoon or a little bit, half a teaspoon of lemon juice in here. Do the same thing. But quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar, 3 egg whites. Now, I have done this where I've used 4 eggs and 4 egg whites, and it's been completely fine. But you just get more meringue.
Kate, what was the substitute for cream of tartar, did you say?
Lemon juice.
Oh, really? Okay. About how much? The same amount?
Same amount.
Okay. Never heard of that.
This is acidic, and it helps to stabilize the egg whites.
Okay.
So add acid to it. Now, honestly, you don't even have to add acid. Truly, you don't, but it'll work. Okay. I want to show you frothy, not done, but frothy. Okay.
And what do you have your mixer on?
High.
Right,
High.
right.
Right now it's on 6. I'm going to turn it even higher.
Okay.
Okay. And then you add 6 tablespoons, which I've already measured out, of sugar. A little bit at a time. And now you put it on super high. What you're doing is dissolving that sugar in the egg whites. And as it dissolves, of course it's sugar, so it's a chemical reaction. As it dissolves, it stabilizes them, it turns them into meringue, which is mighty fine. Hang on for a second. This is not done, but it's pretty close, as you can see. And I'm going to scrape it down a little bit.
So it's already holding peaks, but you still go past that? Okay.
I go until just a little bit past that.
Okay.
I want it to be kind of glossy.
Got it.
Which it is. It's pretty good right now. As you can see, it doesn't take very long. And
Oh, yeah.
it's mighty fun. Okay. And you want to, I always like taste it with my fingers so that make sure that that sugar is dissolved. The sugar dissolving really is important because then it won't. Have you ever done a lemon meringue pie that weeps?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Sugar.
sugar that hasn't dissolved.
Okay.
It still tastes good and it's wonderful, but it isn't, you know, like perfection. Now, I have a pie tin that I've already done, okay? So I would, if I were doing this myself, I would probably just wait for that to come out and then fill it and put it back in. But I've got this, so we'll talk about how to put the meringue on. Now, you have very hot. It's still really hot, and you want it hot.
You do want it hot.
You want the lemon meringue, the lemon
The lemon.
filling to be hot, because somehow or another it makes the meringue stick to it. Okay. And you can see it's pretty cool. All right. Now, this is about getting it all the way to the edge. You want it to, you want the meringue to latch on to the pie crust. So I always start on the edges. If it latches on, it isn't going to shrink up, or at least you hope it hopefully will work that way. So you put it up all the way to the edge and you make sure that it's stuck.
So you guys all heard you can vote at the Hollywood Bowl this year.
And at the Pantages.
And
And
Dodger
at the
Stadium.
Pantages.
Dodger Stadium.
And at Dodger Stadium.
And the Rams Stadium, whatever that's called.
Oh, the new one? Hollywood Park? Oh,
But whatever it's called.
oh, the one that was a horse track?
The one that used to have our horse track back when we were little.
Right.
Anita?
It is no more.
No, Santa Anita's over there. Never mind. Then, when you got it all covered, you can do all swirly stuff. And make it stand up like that. Or not do anything swirly. You can just do whatever you want.
Does it stick better if you sing to it like you're doing?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Well, always, always. So there you have it. It's going into the oven as soon as I take the other pie out. Hang on. Let me get. And you can see this is done. It's brown and it's browned and it's all ready to go. And I'm just going to put this pie in. Same temperature, well, 425. Turn it up a little bit. And it's in there. Don't walk away because I've burnt it. But there you have it. And the pie will be done in about 10 minutes. So there you have it. And of course, my kitchen is a disaster, but we'll get it all cleaned up while.
Okay, I have a question about the blueberry version.
Oh, okay.
So when you mentioned cooking down the blueberries.
Yeah.
Do you cook them like to a jam version? No.
Sort of. I mean, you're putting cornstarch in them to make them jammy.
Right.
You don't need to have them. And actually, what I do, I like the taste of fresh, uncooked.
Yeah, me too.
So I take a good 2/3 of them out and just use the 1/3, make it really jammy, and then
Add the rest.
add to it, and then it really has it sticks together,
Fresh, and it's all together. Yeah.
and it's very fresh tasting.
I wanted to add, that was my question, if you could do that. So that's good to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I do that all of the time. I did that for the blueberry cheesecake.
Aha.
But I made this for Carrie. This was Carrie's pie, and Carrie said that that's what she wanted for her birthday. So I made her the lemon pie. Oh, I need to turn on.
Don't let it burn.
10 minutes or so. So we invented well, I'm sure that I'm not the inventor, but she wanted the blueberries on top of the lemon, and it was mighty fine.
Sounds
It
like
was.
a good combo.
Good combination.
Okay. I don't know what's wrong with my mixer, but it took me twice as long to get the meringue texture as it did you.
I don't have any, I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea. Cooking is a mystery. Plus, it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Meringue is going on as we speak.
Right. So, there you have it. The pie will be coming out soon, but any questions? See, I think this is too much trouble for an ordinary thing. There's too many things. So my deal is, let's make an apple pie. Roll it out, you put the apples in, you put the lid on, and you cook it. I'm rather than fiddling around with meringue and da 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 da. But
Well, for a special occasion, though, like you say.
oh, for
Or
my
you know what else, Kate? I think it's a good combination with one of the things that we've done that's really easy and fancy for the main dish. To do a simple main dish and then top it off with a fancy, instead of, I tend to do a fancy dinner and I make everything fancy and it's frustrating and awful.
That's good note.
I don't know. That would be my suggestion.
I like making something spectacular somewhere.
Right. That's, yeah.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
It can be the dessert. It can be, whatever. But somewhere there's something really special, and the rest of it is like a green salad.
All right,
I
so there's mine.
Anything less fancy than a green salad. Look at that!
All right,
Carrie.
we're heading in.
Fabulous. I'm gonna get, let's see, it's only 5 minutes before I take it out. So, yeah, I mean, when I do a dinner, often I will make something that I've never made before. I'm one of those people that will do something like that for friends, and if they've had enough dinners from me that are good. So if I do something weird and it turns into a big fiasco, we'll just major in something else.
Good bottle of wine.
Hello. Yes.
And I can tell you that I have eaten many, many, many dinners at Kate's house, and I have never eaten anything that was a fiasco.
No, but I mean, it becomes I certainly have done fiasco type things, and it becomes a source of amusement for yourself and your family. You know, I mean, and then, you know, even if the dessert is, you know, you always have something that you can have that you know everybody's gonna like. Like, okay, the pie didn't turn out the way you wanted, so we'll have ice cream. You know, and if you do have a disaster, it is really, really important not to talk about it. I mean, unless it's in front of people, and then you talk about it. But you don't need to regale people with how badly your afternoon went. You know.
Well, I saw Julia Child burn crepes on the Today Show a long time ago.
It happens. It happens to the best of us, and she's certainly the best.
Right in front of all of America. And she laughed.
Yeah.
Well, I really liked it when she dropped a chicken on the floor. She picked it up, washed it off, and said, "Nobody needs to know."
I remember that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, you're going, it's not the end of the world. I think that it's really important to know that none of this is that important. And if something bad really does happen and it's your, you know, it can either be a good story or all evidence is destroyed.
It never happened.
It never happened. That's one of the reasons why I love cooking so much. I'm gonna go get a trivet to put, you know, a wire rack to put the pie on. It's 1 minute to go. Oh, and it's done.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
Speaking of Julia, that's beautiful.
Can you pass
Oh,
us the
beautiful.
ice through the computer?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll hold my hand out.
Now, all of the little swirly things at the top are all brown. I'm gonna turn this thing off because it's freezing here. But that really is a spectacular thing. It's always good. And because it has latched onto the side, it's not shrinking in.
Yeah, a lot of times you see that. There's a gap.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
good to know.
it will happen sometimes even if you do this, but this helps.
Mhm.
This definitely helps if you start at the edge and make sure it's latched on. It's sort of like me making those little points to hang over the edge.
Mhm.
So there's the pie. It is, and I will tell you, it's a really good pie. This recipe is basically Betty Crocker.
Hmm.
I made this for my dad, I think the first time when I was like 12 years old.
Wow.
It helped, but I did it pretty much myself. And that was from my new Betty Crocker cookbook, which it's sort of destroyed right now.
I still have mine too. It's taped together, but I still have it.
And I bought it with my babysitting money.
Wow. Good for you.
Oh, I always knew I wanted to cook.
I have a question about the sugar. So a lot of my baking now, I've been cutting sugar in half. Like the simplest recipes, chocolate chip cookies, I half the sugar. And you know, in all my baking, I've been halving. And I'm so used to it now, I don't miss it. And I just wondered if you think it would be safe to try this with the lemon.
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. So
Okay.
why don't you try it and tell us?
I will. I'll let you know if it works with half, because I just found that a lot of the recipes, you know, we're trying to control the sugar intake on the grandkids and stuff. So I've cut back. But they're still delicious. They still taste. A chocolate chip cookie is still a chocolate chip cookie, and oatmeal cookie is still. You don't, and in fact, you can actually taste the other things a little more than all sugar, sugar sensation. But I'm going to try it with the lemon and just see what happens.
Absolutely. I don't know. I probably wouldn't.
I just wondered if you guys are better with the chemistry. I didn't know if, Susan, would the lack of sugar cause anything to change?
It wouldn't change the filling, but I wouldn't mess with the meringue.
Oh, I won't mess with the meringue either. I was just thinking of the
I was
lemon.
gonna say, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yep.
The meringue is it's really kind of
It's
important.
a very chemistry test there.
Right. I would,
Well, because it's bulk.
if I'm gonna just cut down on it, I think I'd cut down a tablespoon.
Right. Just maybe, or maybe like a third instead of a half cup, something like that.
I
Yeah.
don't know about the filling. I honestly don't know. So
Yeah. I'll see.
try it and you're going to tell us.
Okay, I will. I'll be able to tell you after this weekend. I'm making it for my friend this Saturday. So.
Good.
I
Now,
only, when I'm making jams now, I use maybe 1/3 of what they say to use.
with jams, it's pretty easy to cut down.
And they used to say it was because of the bulk, but you can substitute, you can put cornstarch in there with the sugar
Sure.
and nobody ever knows because you're going to boil it.
Right. It makes sense. I just have never done it with this pie.
Right, right.
I've never done it with a lemon meringue pie.
Well, I made a plum tart a couple weeks ago, and I did it with that, and it was still I like things a little to the tart side, I should say, you know, more than the sweet side. So plum tart came out great. I used the yellow Italian plums, and less sugar, and it was still delicious. It's really yummy. So well, thank you, everyone.
Next week, I thought we would do paella.
Ah, yes.
Okay, and I'll give you all sorts of variations, including vegetarian. Though, you know, I wouldn't do vegetarian, but I'm going to do sausage, chicken, and shrimp in my
Shrimp, yeah.
But
That's perfect.
I've done it just with chicken. I've done it with chicken and sausage. But I'll just give you a recipe. I use arboro rice in it, but I'll probably, if you use regular rice, you can always call it Spanish rice. I mean,
But so the risotto rice works good in a paella too?
oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Actually, the risotto rice is the best.
Okay. The arbori or whatever it is. Okay.
So
I look forward to that.
as usual, I'll give you all sorts of options, and I'll,
Right there.
wait. She's got.
Oh, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait. Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
I got 12 seconds.
Okay, I'm good.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Well done. So this is.
That really looks good.
And that's hers right there.
Yay.
well done.
Nice.
There you go.
Well, thanks, Kate. Thanks very much for this. It was a pleasure. See you
It
next time.
All right, all of you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Pray for
Thank you.
mercy.
Thanks, Kate.
Yeah.
Say hi to Mariana
Yeah.
and Justin for me, okay?
I will, absolutely.
Oh.
Huh?